Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And the Five of Swords is our first position. This is called the station, right? This is your sense of self right now. This is our current identity. This is the tone of our being. This is the card of questions, right? We have questions. We don't have a lot of answers. Sometimes life is just about thinking of better and better questions. You know, it's not about the answers, right? It's about the questions. So I feel like you're a seeker. I feel like you're trying to understand yourself. You're trying to understand your life. You're trying to answer the question, who am I? Right? Why am I here? And this card is that kind of effort that we're looking for some sort of order in the chaos. You might feel as if right now your internal state, right? Because this is kind of like, this is who we are when we're alone. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, right? The interesting thing is nobody does, right? So we may be used to seeing people out there that, they seem so confident. Like, that person over there, they seem so sure of everything. The truth is we all feel this way inside when nobody is looking, right? This is who we are when we're alone, when we close our eyes at night. This is who we are. We don't know. Nobody knows the answers. We're doing our best out here in the universe, but we're all fellow travelers. We're all seeking something. Okay. And so we have to reflect on how this card might resonate with our sense of self right now. That we may feel confused and unsure about life, about the future, about our path, about who we are and why we're here, about our relationships. We have more questions than answers. And that's kind of normal. We have that in common, all of us, I think, you know. So let's put this card into a little bit of context. We're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. You've got the Aeon card. Okay. I wonder if that is a revelation that is coming. Okay. Here we have an 8 of Pentacles, a 4 of Cups, the Ace of Cups. Wow, look at that. And the Princess of Pentacles. Over here we have the Sun. Very good. Now, the Princess of Pentacles is always trying to transform into the Empress. Okay, let's just keep that in mind as our future card, right? This is the next step for you. This is what is kind of, this is our imago. This is what we imagine ourselves to be, is the sort of raw material blossoming into what is truly our potential. Okay, it's not gender specific, but you understand. And here we have the Wheel of Fortune, and the 5 of Wands, and a 9 of Pentacles. So we're on the path, we're making progress. This is very, very good. A lot of very good cards here. Even with our uncertainty, you're going to get clarity. You're going to have the revelation. We're going to know what the next step is. We're stepping into our future here, and we're going to start fulfilling our potential. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're just going to set it down right here with Jimbo, the Lizard King, a.k.a. Mr. Lizard. Right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card could be, put your prediction in the comments down below. Okay? Now, as we look around the room, we see 3 major arcana energies. Making a decision. deciding that we are worth it, deciding that I might not have all the answers. I might be confused. I might feel like my mind, my internal state is just a bunch of static and a bunch of noise. I'm choosing to go forward and be my best self anyway. And then we're sort of becoming, this is the Sun card then, is kind of our true self, right? This is our enlightenment. And this is the universe around us, right? This is the Wheel of Fortune. This is kind of like saying, I'm stepping into my future and I'm trusting that the universe will provide for me if I start building myself up, if I continue on this path of self-fulfillment, right? Trying to expand into our full potential. The universe will kick in and the universe will conspire to help you. Okay, and your luck will change, and we may not ever really know, we may not ever feel like we have answers, but we'll be living our life and we'll be growing and expanding and prospering anyway. Okay, because at the end of the day, probably still going to be like, I don't know. How did you do any of this stuff? I don't know. I just did it. It just happened. I put effort into it, and things started working out. I have no knowledge of how or why anything is anything. You know, I think it's really being aware of the limitations of human knowledge. That we're not supposed to know everything. We're not supposed to have all the answers. We're supposed to do our very best with the limited information that we have. Yeah. So then you also have fire, good water, a little bit of air, not even that much air, kind of just a basic 5 of Swords air card. It's quite fine. Right? Everybody's got this in there somewhere. And then, of course, you have your earth, and earth cards. A nice diagonal earth energy here. So I think you really have some terrific cards today. The second position is the position of the battle. This shows where our task or our quest begins. This is the field of our conflict. This is a card of choice. Right? This is the Eon Judgment, rebirth, reawakening, a baptism by fire. It is a card about making a definite decision to step forward into the new life and saying goodbye to the old way. This is the highest sort of doorway card that we have. Let's do a Divine Doorway Oracle card to go with our Eon card. We're stepping out of the old Eon into the new. We have crushed the universe and we're building a new one already now, you know? So here's your doorway card. The intuition, simple, complex, words of pain or words that heal. You come to know truth by the way it feels. Ah, yes. How is that for synchronicity? My goodness. Because when we have confusion, I have questions. I don't know what the answers are. We come to know truth, right? This is kind of like what we're looking for. We're looking for truth. I'm looking for a needle in the haystack, looking to make some sort of order out of the chaos here. Trying to find the signal in the noise. Well, we don't have an Ace of Swords, right? So we're not getting the answers. We're not getting the mental clarity that just says, I know the answers now. We're getting emotional clarity. We're getting emotional purity. We're getting the intuition. Words of pain or words that heal. You come to know truth by the way it feels. So this is kind of like saying, yeah, our intellect, our rational mind is never going to really know anything. The limits of human knowledge and human reasoning, right? All arguments are circular arguments. All thought is just compounding more confusion. So what are you doing? You're relying on your heart intuition. You'll know the truth by the way it feels, right? What feels right for you. And the way it feels is telling you what the next step is for you. Okay, again, this is that card of the challenge or the obstacle. And this is, your courage is being tested here because you're being told to go with your heart. Follow your heart intuition. Follow the purity of how it feels. Okay, your mind might be saying, well, I don't know the answers. I don't know what's on the other side of that doorway, but your heart does. Your heart can sense it, that intuition, right? So what we're learning through the current situation is that we got to trust our heart a little bit. That we can know the truth, not in the intellect, but in the heart. We know, I'm going to keep coming back to this. You come to know truth by the way that it feels. And we go through this doorway trusting that feeling. And this is the doorway of change. This is the doorway that says, I'm following my intuition. I'm stepping out of the old aeon and into the new. I'm shutting the door on the past and I'm starting the new chapter. I'm choosing to unfold my destiny, whatever that means and wherever that brings me. We're making it happen. Yeah. So this is really good. And it takes courage. It's a fiery doorway. I mean, come on. It's not going to be easy, right? There will be challenges. We will have to leave our old stuff behind. Going through a doorway of fire will singe off of us anything that is not essential to us. Okay? And we're going to talk about that when we get back here to that card. But first, the next position. This in the Dove and Serpent spread, this is position number 3. And I call it the soul, right? Because this is the hidden self, the unconscious. This is what's beneath the surface. This is the deep feelings, the secret longings. And I think what we're longing for is growth. This is the card of prudence, of patience, of slow and steady growth, of paying attention to the details, of not rushing through everything we do in life, but to stop and smell the roses, right? This is the card that's sort of whispering to you from within. It is the voice of your own soul that might be saying, slow down and enjoy the life that we're building. Enjoy the process that we're going through. It's not about the goal. It's about the journey. The summit of the mountain only exists to justify the climb, right? And so this is, to me, it feels like the internal garden. This is who we truly feel we are inside. And all those good qualities of ourselves, that this is like our potential. It's like we want to start living our potential. We want to start growing the garden. I think internal and external, right? Because they go hand in hand. You can't really do one without the other. There may be cycles and phases, which we kind of have that Wheel of Fortune. So, but as that, the deeper longing, we have this pressure in our soul right now that's saying, I want to start growing myself. I want to start becoming who I'm meant to become. I want to start flourishing inside and outside, right? And to do that, we have to slow down. We have to be patient. We have to pay attention to the details. We have to give ourselves the attention that we need. Okay, this is the garden inside of you that needs attention. You got to have your water, your soil, your sunlight, and your love. Everything. Love is always that extra ingredient, right? You got water, shelter, food, and love. You got your water, soil, sunlight, and love. And that's what we want. We want to tend and cultivate this internal garden, and we want to start flourishing. So the question here is sort of asking, what is the garden inside of you that you're trying to grow? What are you ready to bring out into the light? And to start, paying attention to in you, in your life. It doesn't have to be literally like internal stuff, but in your life. What do you want to grow? What do you want to cultivate? Is it new skills? Is it a new talent? Is it like you want to explore some creativity? You want to have different relationships? You want to explore, career options, and really like this decision that we're making to step into the new universe. I kind of switch those cards around. Let me put them back the way they are. There we go. The step forward that we're taking, I believe, is a step toward self-cultivation. Yeah. Realizing that you have an infinite potential about you and starting to fulfill that potential, live up to that potential, explore, expand, and cultivate that potential. Okay. The next card we see is, here we go, position 4, the dwarf. Call it the dwarf. It's the old patterns, right? It is this previous version of ourself that is still sort of tying us down a little bit. It's a residue, right? It's old karma. It's the 4 of Cups. And to me, this is a card of playing it safe. Okay? And this is the card of trying to be content with less than less than that which we are capable of being. Okay? Being comfortable, trying to be okay, trying to be content with being much smaller than we could be. Limiting ourselves, boxing ourselves in, freezing ourselves out. It's an icy cold heart. It is a limitation. It's a safe harbor. It's a storm shelter. It's a cove. Right? And this is us trying to say, I'm okay, life is fine, I'm fine. And yeah, maybe we are okay, right? The boat's not sinking. There are no holes in the boat. But we're not sailing off to our adventure either. So in the context of these cards, it's kind of like saying, instead of fulfilling my potential, instead of going through this fiery doorway, instead of following my intuition and going through this fiery doorway, and exploring, this sort of new land that is my potential, I'm choosing to stay rather in the past. So instead of closing the door on the old chapter and moving forward, we're shutting the door on the future and we're staying in the past, right? Well, I don't think we should do that. This might be a card that is kind of signifying like that we, instead of risking everything, right, we're going to stay where we're familiar. Even if this is not very good, even if it's okay, like I'm trying to be content with this, it's not the best thing that I could wish for, but I'm familiar with it. I'm comfortable with it. Okay? I feel like this is something tied to your past where we were made to feel like we shouldn't really shine our light. I feel like somewhere along the line you were taught to dim your shine. You were taught to play it safe or to limit your experience or limit your radiant self, to tone it down. Don't be so loud. Don't wear loud colors or whatever, right? Just be sort of muted and reserved and restrained. I feel that this may have led to kind of a feeling that we didn't deserve more in life. That we should just be happy with what we have. Instead of aspiring to be a better version of ourselves or aspiring to have more, to succeed. Okay? So to me, this is an unhealthy limitation. Yeah. So it's an old wound. It's a pattern that we have to sort of face and release. It's some influence that's still holding sway over you. And it may be a feeling of acceptance, where somebody loves us. We feel accepted, but only if we are a certain way, right? And so it's like, I could be myself, but then I won't get the love. Or I could be who they want me to be, and I can get love, right? And so when we're taught that as kids, it really creates a weird dynamic when we get older, right? Because then we have this, obviously, this agency and this autonomy. Then we also have this sort of desire to be loved and this training, this program that's running in the back of our brains, back down there somewhere, that's telling us we have to mold and shape ourselves to fit into who we're expected to be if we want anyone to love us. So in other words, people aren't going to love us for who we are, but only the way we can be what they want us to be. So we got to break free of this. And so I really feel like you're stepping through this doorway. You're stepping into a new eon where you're creating yourself in a way that feels right for you. You don't have all the answers. You don't know anything, but you're feeling it. You'll come to know truth by the way it feels. So in a way, this is self-love. This is self-acceptance, right? If people didn't accept you for who you were, those weren't your people, okay? So that Four of Cups to me is really a tough one, okay? A lot of these kind of, I don't know, it feels like a childhood thing. I guess it doesn't have to be, but a lot of this kind of energy, when it has to do with our emotions, that early emotional training, our earliest emotional experiences really affect us as adults. Okay? Because when you're a kid, when you're a little baby, I don't remember being a baby, but I'm assuming we don't have the vocabulary necessary to really think things through and reason things out, So when you're a kid, it's mostly just feelings and sensations. It's a lot of feelings, you know? And if those feelings are, if we're taught that those feelings are wrong, or there's something wrong with how we are, how we present ourselves to the world, or if love and affection has been withheld from us, that really creates a really, really, really deep and lasting impact. Okay, so it's the emotional energy that's the hardest to step through the door and and move on to the next chapter. It's really hard to let some of these things go. Okay, and I don't think we ever truly do, to be honest with you. I think we make a choice to move forward, but these are still there. We're never free of anything, really, especially when it comes to psychological things or karma and things like that. We can unravel the knots, but those strings are still there. We're happy that they're not all knotted up and tangled up anymore. But they're still there. We're still pulling everything forward with us. We don't change who we are fundamentally. I think we accept ourselves and we grow and we evolve, but we don't get rid of what we don't, this idea of shedding a skin and things. Like, yeah, I believe, I use those terms. But, we're not ever really cutting ties with any part of ourselves. That we're acknowledging something and we're able to integrate it into who we are. And we're able to take its power away so that we can make the choices we need to make. Otherwise, this is that dwarf self that's making all the choices for you. Okay? And what we're doing now is we're going to follow the heart. Now, the next card here, right? Position 5, the giant. The driving force, the impulse that prepares you forward. It's the Ace of Cups. This is love. This is the source of love. This is self-love, divine love. It's everything, right? This is the cup. This is the Holy Grail. This is the cup that is always full. No matter how much we drink of it, it stays full. No matter how much we give to other people, it stays full. Okay? And this is a card of birth. This is the card of starting a new path of self-love and self-care and radical self-acceptance. It's Spirit's way of saying you need to drink more water, right? We need to radically hydrate our lives right now. And literally, but also figuratively, emotionally. Okay. And this is our intuition. Again, it's you'll come to know the truth by the way it feels. And so you're understanding that that we're no longer going to rely on other people to provide our sense of value, because that is really giving our power away. Because then we're telling other people that, whatever you think of me is how I'm going to think of myself. However you feel about me is how I'm going to feel about myself. This card is saying, no, I'm starting from the other way around. I'm feeling this way about myself. Okay? And that's what matters. And so this is us following that pure heart of self-love and self-acceptance. And we're ready to give that love out to the world too. We're living from a place, we're operating from a place of pure love. Pure universal love. The highest form, the spiritual source of love. Yeah. And this is ready to manifest. So we're going through this doorway, and what we're doing is we're making a choice that says, okay, I don't logically know anything. I'm choosing to feel my way forward, and I'm choosing to feel myself. I'm choosing to love myself, and I'm choosing to cultivate the life that I really want. I'm not going to let the past define me. I'm not going to let the past determine my sense of value or my self-worth. You see? And that's a choice we have to make. And it's a definite decision. This is going through no uncertain terms. We're shutting the door on the past. So I don't know if this is you walking away from particular energies or particular people, or if this is just kind of like we're marking the day. Today is the day that I made the decision to not let my past define me or to determine my self-worth or my value. Today is the day that I've shut the door on that, and I'm embracing the future. And the future is position 6, the imago, the image of our future self. The next step on the path, right? This is kind of a blank slate. This is just a wide open landscape, raw materials. So it's kind of like saying my future self could be anything I freaking want it to be. I can grow in any way I want. I can develop any parts of myself. I can be who I want to be. And I can follow my intuition to do that, right? I don't have to decide logically. If it feels right, I want to grow in that direction. And again, this isn't just about ego gratification. It's not just saying like, if it feels good, do it. If it feels bad, don't do it. That's ego feeling, right? This is the highest form of spiritual love. This is the source of all love, right? And that's determining kind of what choice, that's helping to guide our choices about who we become, right? The beacon of what we're becoming. And so we're aligning our actions now with this emerging destiny. And we're making choices that will help to shape this into the Empress. Again, it's not gender specific, but into a fully realized person that knows its potential and is growing. It's that garden, right? We have this desire for the internal garden. The Empress energy is going to be the internal and external gardens. It's the best version of ourselves and the best life. And it's working together. It's a symbiotic relationship. Our best self and our best life working together. And this is us acknowledging our potential and saying, literally, I can be anything I want to be. I can follow my intuition. I'll know the truth by the way it feels. And if it feels fundamentally wrong, I won't do it. If it feels fundamentally spiritually right, I will continue to develop myself along those lines. I'm not going to let anybody else guilt me into changing my mind. I'm certainly not going to let the past define who I am. Okay? So we have to be able to distinguish between what are those feelings of the past, the feelings of guilt or shame or whatever, and those deeper core fundamental spiritual feelings of love and intuition and clarity, of the truth, right, of self-love, embracing who we really are. This is the card that still says, I still have a 5 of Swords. I still don't know who I am. But I'm embracing myself every day, and I'm becoming who I am. Every day, I'm becoming a little bit more of my true self. Yeah, this is beautiful. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent now. And as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. The readings are totally free. They don't cost anything, okay? So now, position 7 is the persona. This is how we're presenting ourselves to the world now in living color. Full, live, loud, right? And loving it. This is loud and proud. This is letting our freak flag fly, right? This is being who we are and radiating our life and our love and our light into the world without shame, without reservation. Not everybody's going to like it, and that's okay, right? Because it feels authentic. And so this is your style. This is the energy of your public self. And I don't feel like this is you out there forcing your style down people's throats, right? We're not trying to impose on other people and we're not trying to be so like in your face, right? But we're just being ourselves. We're being natural. Because if we went to one extreme or the other, it would still be a reaction to this past. When we feel so contained by our past that we rebel and the pendulum swings to the opposite direction, well then we're still not being ourselves. We're being just the reaction to the opposite energy. You see, so we're still tied to it. So the Sun card is not becoming the other extreme, right? If we had to be really quiet as kids, then you grow up and you make that decision, well, now I'm just going to scream everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I'm just going to be the loudest person in the room. That's not authentic, necessarily. It's a reaction to that past energy, you see. So this is the authentic self. I am just being me. And I think when we're being authentic and natural and we're radiating our light, other people are going to be attracted to that light. Not everybody. But it's going to be harmonious. We're going to be in harmony with the rest of the world. Everyone is a star. Okay? And everybody has to find their own true nature. It's not a matter of intellectual discovery. We're not reasoning it out. We're using the intuition. We'll come to know our authentic self by the way it feels. Okay? And so as this card, as the persona, this is someone who's stripped of persona. I'm just being me. Of course, we're constructing ourselves. We're constructing our persona, right? Because the sun is shining down on our landscape here, and flowers are growing, different kinds of flowers and plants and vegetables and things. So we're sort of building up a persona, yeah, of course. But this is the authenticity. And so this is really like serving our higher purpose. Okay, this is really the perfect card to get in this position. This is perfection. Right? Not a perfect self, not a perfect life, you know, but pure authenticity. It's the best position. It's the best card for the persona position because it really is a card of no persona at all. It's just our true self is shining forth. We're radiating our own light. And of course, that light is going to be filtered through our personality. So we'll all dress a little different. We'll all have different quirks, different personality traits. You know, we'll all talk a little different and have different hand movements and whatever. Everybody has a different personality. But as long as we are allowing our light to shine out from us, and we're making the choice, really the choice every day, to follow our intuition and continually cultivating who we are, we're all going to be the best versions of ourselves. And everyone is a star. And you know what? Every star is absolutely unique. It has a different chemical makeup. It's composed of different elements. It has a different heat signature. It's different sizes. There are billions and trillions upon trillions of stars in the galaxy or in the universe. I don't know how many trillions. And each one is unique. Each one has a little bit. If you take a spectral analysis, I guess it's called, of any particular star, they will all be different. Right? If we analyze the light that's shining off of each of us, we all are very unique. We're all stars, but we're all very unique. Anyway, I love it. I really do. I think it's fantastic. We're going to go to the next card here. This is the position of the shadow. And sometimes this card is about some, deeper things that we need to acknowledge about ourselves, right? It's maybe some denied aspects of ourselves. And really, let's just keep the camera here. It really is about this Four of Cups. Because what we need to acknowledge about ourselves is that we are meant for great things, that we're supposed to expand. The universe wants us to prosper. The universe wants us to grow into our true selves. Right? So it's really, this is the opposite of that. This is keeping us small, keeping us contained. This is when our energy is really squeezed and shut up in a tower, basically, right? But what we need to acknowledge about ourselves, the truth, is that we're meant to grow, and we're meant to expand, and we're meant to fulfill our potential. The universe wants us to do that. So in the shadow is this idea that you deserve to be great, that you deserve to expand and grow, you deserve abundance, you deserve to grow your life in every dimension, however you choose, right? That we deserve great things. We deserve great good fortune. And so with the Four of Cups, it's kind of the alternative there is saying, I don't deserve anything great. I'm not worth anything beyond to the bare minimum. I'm not worth it, I'm not worthy. I don't deserve it. This is the card this is what we need to acknowledge. That yes, indeed, you do deserve it. You deserve great things. You deserve dreams and aspirations and hopes and wishes. You deserve your best self and your best life. And you deserve to shine your light in the most authentic way. Okay? So this, I think this shows us that once we start accepting ourselves and believing in ourselves and trusting in ourselves, trusting in our intuition, trusting in the universe will conspire to help us. The universe will set things in motion to give you what you need. The right people, places, and things will appear on your path when and where you need them. The hand of providence will move in your favor once we accept ourselves and we choose to start living our life for our own truth. Right? And we know that truth by the way it feels. So we're activating the Wheel of Fortune. We are magnetizing ourselves. We're radiating so much love and joy and just pure light that we can't help but attract all that good stuff of life. The love, the success, the achievements, the people, the pets, the plants, and the people. We're acting as an electromagnet. Okay. Now, the next card, of course, is the Spectre. It's card number 9. And this is kind of what we fear becoming. Okay. And it's kind of, again, it's sort of a rebellion to the Four of Cups, right? Four of Cups. Anytime we get a 4, we start looking for the 5. You have cups, you have wands, you have water, you have fire. So they're antagonistic. So this is really the exact rebellion of this card. Okay? And so this is our fear, worry, and concern. This is what we do not want to become. What do we fear becoming? Well, angry, cynical, aggressive, arrogant, over-proud, overconfident. Okay? We fear becoming someone who is fighting for everything, fighting against everything, has become angry, temperamental, right? We don't want to become that. But that seems like a natural reaction. When we've lived a life that's this, it makes sense. We're pissed off. And we're walking around, we're pissed off. We're a hammer looking for a nail, But we don't want to become that. We want to just become who we are. We don't, like I said with the Sun card, we don't want to just rebel against the life we had or against the energy or whatever that force was that was keeping us contained. It's not just about rebellion. It's about finding out who we are and living authentically. Not as a reaction to the past, you see? Because this is that opposite reaction. My parents wanted me to be this way, so you know what? I went the opposite direction. I'm this way. Well, that's still giving too much power to that energy. I don't know if it was your parents or what it was. I don't know how precise or literal that is for you, but we don't want to just rebel against that. So what we have to do is we have to always be paying attention to ourselves. This is a card really of self-observation, seeing what we are fighting against or what we're fighting for. Are we fighting against our true selves? Are we fighting against that old energy, the parents or the programming or whatever it was, right? And why? Well, what are we fighting? And why are we fighting at all? And if we're just living our true selves and following our true path and doing our best to cultivate our best, there shouldn't be too many conflicts in our lives. If everybody realized that they were a star and every star follows its own orbit, it's very rare that two stars will collide. There's a theory that planets used to be formed. Back in the day, I think they believed that planets were formed when two stars would sort of brush up against each other, and then some dust would fall off, and that dust would become a planet. Well, now they realize that if that were really true, there would be very few planets, because stars very rarely collide. They do. It does happen. I don't know how often. But they kind of said if that was how planets were formed, we wouldn't have very many planets at all. But now we see that almost every star has a planet, so we know that's not really the case. Okay? Because I don't feel that stars really collide very often. So if everybody's doing their true will and living their authentic life, there'd be a lot of flow and a lot of harmony. There'd be a lot of activity, a lot of excitement, a lot going on, but there wouldn't be a lot of clashes. There wouldn't be a lot of fighting and friction and drama, and we wouldn't have this Five of Wands. But as it is, everybody is in a process of becoming. Now, we're kind of talking an ideal world. Everybody is already a fully developed star, knows their orbit, perfect harmony, right? But it's not like that. None of us, we all have a Five of Swords. We all have confusion, and in our confusion, we end up getting into some fisticuffs. We end up in a little bit of drama, and it happens. So we have to be okay with that. We don't seek it out. I'm trying to become the best version of myself, which means less and less drama, but I'm not perfect. I'm still learning about who I am. And if everybody has this attitude, then it's like we can catch ourselves very quickly. Oh, okay, I'm starting to kind of get into that temper kind of energy with somebody or with other people, and we can stop. We can say, okay, you know what? I'm still learning about myself and my life, and so is everybody else. We are all absolutely unique, but we're all essentially the same. And like I said at the beginning, we all have our 5 of Swords. None of us know what we're doing. We're just doing our best. Sometimes we're going to bump heads. Okay? We just got to try to avoid it as much as possible and continue working on ourselves. Continue the spiritual path. Now, the next card, of course, is position 10. It is your destiny. And that's a card of progress. That's a card of gain, right? It's a card of things working out. I am working things out. I am making progress. It's a card of visible signs of progress on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, and spiritual creative planes. Everything is going to proceed. Everything is going to prosper. Everything is going to grow. So when we're kind of saying, like, I can grow myself and I can grow my life any way I want, this is me doing it, right? So every choice we make is weaving this garden we're building. We're progressing in a certain direction, and we're doing so consciously. We're not experiencing a lack of water that stunts our growth, right? We're following our truth by the way it feels, and we are growing in our chosen direction. We are becoming and becoming and becoming better and better versions of ourselves. The 9 of Pentacles really explains life, because life is not a static picture. The sun is not just, oh, okay, it's a sun, it's static. The sun is the most dynamic thing in the whole universe. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but it's in constant motion. It's a ball of fire, and fire is that spirit. It's the element of transformation. It's always the sun is always becoming. It's fusing elements together and all that stuff, and it's radiating out this light and this fire and this heat and war and love and everything else, right? And it's never a static thing. Okay. I don't know, maybe dwarf stars or black holes, or I don't know, whatever happens, when a star dies, but, billions of years, it's kind of basically immortal, right? But it's always in a state of flux. It's always becoming. Yeah, I like it. Let's look at the mystery card. Position 11, the guide. Okay, this is the higher self, the inner teacher, the wisdom that waits to lead you onward. What do we think it's going to be? I think it's going to be maybe more water, maybe an ace, another ace, maybe a 6 of cups, right? Connection, flow, harmony. I'm kind of thinking a 6 would be good. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Oh, the chariot. Very good. The chariot is kind of like, it's saying that we are fortified in ourselves. We have a thick skin. We're taking care of our business. We're living and we're letting live. Yet we have a loyalty and a devotion and an obligation to our truest, highest self, to spirit, right? And that is guiding our choices. We're not living in ego. We're trusting our intuition. And we are following the path of our own evolution, our own fulfillment, our own potential. And we're going to encounter other chariots. Some days we might be racing. Some days we might just line the chariots up in a circle and have a bonfire, have a picnic, right? But we're essentially all inside this body by ourselves, right? Sometimes the chariot is the body. What is the charioteer? It's not the mind. It's not even the emotions, right? It's our spirit. It could be that Ace of Cups in here. The charioteer, at least in the Crowley deck, the Thoth Tarot, holding the Holy Grail. Okay, because that is our spiritual essence, and right now yours is that Ace of Cups. So the Ace of Cups is kind of our precious cargo. It is our consciousness. It is our spirit and soul, and that's what we are transporting through this universe via our body, heart, and mind. Okay, so this gives us a sense of we're in service to something greater than ego. And so maybe the Five of Wands here, what we don't want to become is just that ego. We don't want to be so identified with the ego. We have to look at the ego as another entity. Because remember, all the fives of the tarot are saying, look at me. And if we want to be able to look at something, it has to be separate from us. If I am the ego, I can't look at the ego. The eye can't see itself, right? If I want to look at the ego, I have to disidentify with the ego. So who am I then? Must be spirit. So I can be spirit looking at ego and being able to direct my body, heart, and mind, direct my chariot from that perspective. I love this. I think this is really wonderful. You have one of the best readings that I've done in a long time. I really feel this is a good one for you. Okay? I really, really do. Now, please let the lessons of these 11 stations settle in your heart. Each card is a mirror. Each station is a temple of transformation. Okay? And remember that the tarot does not dictate your future. It reveals the patterns of possibility. It invites you to co-create your destiny. Co-create yourself and your life. And if this reading has illuminated your path in any way, please share your reflections below. Together we journey onward, ever upward, and ever inward. And we're going to do an extended reading as well if you want to stick around. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Gemini Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.